have started doing... Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm playing WARNO. Well, I'm not playing, I'm casting WARNO. On the map 10v10 Isura. And I am on the Soviet side. And I'm playing as 35th VDV. What my strategy is going to be as an opener is I'm going to defend this sightline with some Conkers ATGM cars. Or let me zoom in and see exactly what I'm looking at. Hey, where are you? Oh yeah, no, they're the little Jeeps, the Iltis, whatever. No, UAZ. Iltis is on, Iltis is what the Germans have. Both East and West Germans. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's a Jeep with an ATGM on it. I'm putting them on this sight line here because I have been caught out so many times with NATO tank rushes down this line. So, to comment briefly on this, you've got Zwote here with his LAV. If he was, let's say, the Spanish or the French who have, like, I think 16 or 20 possible recon tanks they can deploy right at the start of the match, if you're one of those guys, you can deploy 15 Guerrillian tanks and have them, you know, right here, meet up right here, right as your advanced deploy infantry is coming onto this beach right here. And on the opposite side here, you have the exact same thing happening, where you can deploy the tanks, I think, right here around this crossroads. And then by the time they're right about here, the enemy advanced deploy is either crossing or they're right before the bridge. So you can catch them out, you know, on this side with a tank rush, and on this side with a tank rush, and as NATO, get Nicholas within, like, the first 2 minutes and comfortably hold it for the rest of the match. So what I've stopped doing is going directly across this bridge and dying to NATO tank rushes. What I have started doing is focusing on this Michael, this Cap Michael right here, and putting ATGMs here to block the enemy tank rush. What I have also kind of toyed around with doing is putting like a ATGM anti-tank gun screen right here for the same reason. If ever the enemy tank rushes into here, or the enemy tank rushes into here, I got this little screening force right here, and at the very least I can, you know, beat them off and not get completely rolled and have tanks in our rear line within the first 2 minutes of the game, which has happened to me, by the way. We still won, though, because they got, like, distracted and were halfway across the map, and we just captured these points. Anyways, so we're going on Michael, and we're defending with an ATGM screen from here. And the enemy is just not playing the game very well. Spoiler alert, they don't really send anyone to either of these cap points. They send, like, a flash, yeah, 2 flashes, 1 airborne card, an Avenger, 2 stingers, and nothing else. But anyways, that's not me, that's someone else who's going on here. But I found this engagement really interesting. J-Ben with the Proctron, this is one that can sense if there's enemies within the circle. If you deploy 2, you can kind of triangulate. I don't know what the purpose is. Anyways, those signals intelligence guys aren't particularly good in 10v10s in my estimation, because there's just too much going on. You got to pay attention to them. And we deploy 15 million infantry units and just completely dominate this city square in 15 milliseconds. Do we get him? Yeah, we do. So anyways, already this has been a complete roll. We've got Michael, and because the enemy, like, they committed some infantry, but he kind of went defensive, passive on this side, and didn't send enough crap here. Maybe he got, like, planes or something, or a supply point, but this seems like a really low amount of units. And they're not, like, they're not in a good assault formation. So us, J-Ben here, I'm pretty sure, he's in this, like, little forest patch. He's got a high density of troops. He's got this one LAV caught out in the open that is going to be really easy to kill if he just gets close enough. He should probably bring it back. Anyways, the enemy completely forgot to put anything on Paul. We've already got Michael. This point, Leonid is always an easy cap for us, but we're not defending it particularly well. Not that we have to, because the enemy never tries for it. Coming in with Zwolt, coming in with the Blackhawk Rush. And I've casted this game before. I didn't like my commentary, so I'm redoing it. And for some unknown, inexplicable reason, he drops his two guys here. He caps the point, and now he's getting faced with this enemy rush. And then he just leaves. I don't know if he sees, like, the enemy infantry wave coming at him. Maybe with the Stinger he'll see the Spetsnaz, but he just gets his guys back on. Oh, actually, that is probably why. I didn't see the mortar, Vasilek mortar barrage coming in. But yeah, he moves his dudes, and they just fall to the enemy, our anti-air Tunguskas, and die immediately in a horrible helicopter crash. And they hit the Spetsnaz crew, dude. Poor bastard. Anyways, so we very quickly capture this point, and because of the way the map is, these points are worth 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 points, and this is 1/3 of the map, and the entire center line, which is another third of the map, is only worth 6 points. And then you've got this flank, which is, if I'm not mistaken, 2, 4, 5, right? I think this is 5. Yeah, 5 on Boris. And then you've got Dmitri. So you've got 6 cap points on, let's say, our left flank. You've got 6 cap points in the middle. And then you've got 9 cap points on this right flank right here. So the 10v10 Isura problem, quite simply, is that people don't know where the cap points, like the most time and cost-efficient cap points to capture are. And so what ends up happening is the enemy meet waves into these central points, and win or lose, it doesn't matter, because if you capture like 2 points here, your rear line points, and then all the points on this side, you win, even if they completely roll you in the center. Even if they've got tanks rolling through your back line, as long as you hold these cap points, you'll win within 9 minutes. Which is exactly what happens. So, we have faced 0 resistance so far, and we're slowly setting up this attack onto Constantine. And because Big Bertha's an AI, they do questionable tactical decisions. Like running an M11P and a Humvee into this forest line against a whole bunch of infantry. And because J-Ben and I are like really spread out, I don't think J-Ben micros particularly well, because he could have just sent these 2 guys here to flank him and it would have been over in 15 seconds. But yeah, the PT-76 gets a hit off on its M1IP. I always call them M1 1Ps, but I think that's actually an I there. But the PT-76 barely does any damage, and these 2 Spadokronartsis with RPG-7s do the rest of the job and destroy that poor M1IP. And it's over. And he cries, the AI cries himself to sleep. So, 3 minutes left of the game, and we've got a really slow-ass airborne infantry rush through the forest. And, spoiler alert, I think they barely get into the cap zone before the game ends. So not particularly effective there, not really good micro. And basically, we have this impenetrable meat wave wall. Like, we're not losing any of this. Even if the entire enemy team rediverted, they wouldn't be able to get here in time to actually contend any of these cap points. So the 10v10 Isura problem is people don't really know how to play. People go too slow. They go on the classic, 10v10 divisions like 3rd Armor, and they get 300 point fucking M1A1 HAs, which are not cost effective in the least on this map because the games are over in 9 minutes. So like the M1A1HA is the best tank in the game. Like no contest. But you know what it's not? It's not going to capture a point. That's what it's not going to do. So like you've got one of them, you've got two of them. That's 600 and I think 20 points? Like that's an entire VDV meat wave. With potentially a helicopter for Overwatch. So yeah, like people are going slow. They're getting 15 different supply depots and a gorillion different artillery pieces, and it's like completely useless. Like yeah, they'll get some kills, I guess, maybe, but we'll just not like we'll just take the points and win. We don't need to like conserve our units. These games, I think the longest I've been is on this map is 27 minutes. And I'm pretty sure we won. I think if I remember correctly, what ended up happening is either on this island here or through this side here, the enemy put a tank wave, completely destroyed my forward deploy guys. And I think I was explaining this at the start. I had gotten them mostly across the bridge when like 15 different AMX 10s or AMX 30s came across and just destroyed all of them. And then they went all the way down here and were destroying all of our supply depots and contesting like our spawns and stuff like that. But I just redeployed my guys and took this side of the map and we won anyways. So yeah, like this is probably my favorite map in terms of like actual like design and how it's supposed to play, but the problem is people don't play it the way it's supposed to be played. They keep going super heavy meat waves or like tank rushes instead of super light meat waves, which is what the map actually wants. Another thing I wanted to comment on real quick before this ends is the MiG-31s can like shoot enemy planes as they fly out of the spawn, and that's like absolutely hilarious, but it feels kind of overpowered, I would say. The air game on this map really sucks. Specifically because of the damn MiG-31s, which are cancerous on any map. Anyways, let's just look over the stats real quick. I got some good conquest. I got some good kills. I barely lost anything. And, I mean, compared to the other top four guys, I lost a lot of infantry, a lot of units. But what made me laugh when I first, when I got done winning this game is the top 5 guys have as many deaths as the bottom guy. And I'm absolutely convinced that this bottom guy was meat waving in the center city area. And someone has to do it, but that's what you get. You get ground down to nothing. The cap points aren't worth anything. So you're the bottom of the list with the worst KD and 0 cap points. And then you cry yourself to sleep. So let's go through the kills real quick. I just have one thing I want to point out here. You know, whatever. Unexceptional singular units killing singular enemy units, whatever. Our Skurzets, our BTR ZDs doing some work, as they always do. But MiG-31s get 2 kills within the first 30 seconds of the game. I think they take 5 seconds to deploy, and you have to manually deploy them at the start of the game. So usually people take a couple seconds before instantly throwing out their planes just because you have to actually click on them, select them, and then, you know, move them onto the map. So within 30 seconds, they got 2 air-to-air kills. Like, the MiG-31s are so dominant on this map, it's not even funny. You can kind of get away if you're really adventurous, really you committed to the bit. You can buy like 4 F-15s and then just fly them straight across the enemy, like the middle of the map, so you're into enemy territory and you can maybe get some kills on MiG-31s right at the start of the game. But that's like super expensive. And if the enemy has like the Strellas or any anti-air that can shoot while on the move, you're just going to lose your things while they move from their deployment zone anyways. So like the air game is trash on this map. Like it's just bad. There's such a high concentration of anti-air units, and the packed side has the absolutely cancerous MiG-31s. And we were 276 divisions on this map. So that's a total of 8 MiG-31s that we could have spawned. And I'm pretty sure one of these divisions, I forget which one of them, maybe Miao or Keshui, has 2 MiG-31s they could call in as well. So, like, this game is... I really like this map. I think it has good gameplay. It's really dynamic. But the problem is people don't know how to play it, and they aren't aggressive enough. And I swear, if a packed side decided to go 10 players of 76 VDV, the enemy would literally not be able to do anything. We would just roll them, you know. Everyone buys one singular MiG-31. We all deploy them at the start. We completely destroy the enemy air force within the first 35 seconds of the game. And then we just advance deploy infantry into all the choke points and capture everything and win. You know? So, like, the 10v10 Isura problem is the players. As is, like, 90% of the problems in this game besides, like, the ATGM and anti-air missile bug, which drives me absolutely crazy. If you didn't know, that's a bug where you lose lock with the enemy, even if they're within your range, you're like your sight line, you lose the lock, and then the rocket just dumps itself in front of the vehicle or the infantry unit and kills them instantly. So you could, like, friendly fire. If you're shooting an Eagla in an apartment complex and you lose sightline of the helicopter, the Eagla will explode within the room you're shooting in and then kill you and then 3 other VDV units. And you'll cry yourself to sleep. So anyways, this game is great. I wish people knew how to play this map. That's all. See you later, guys.